We good. We good. So, all right, let's get started. So we get everybody online. Good evening, everybody in Thailand. Sawadee Club, everybody in Thailand and in Asia. Welcome to our webinar, USCC webinar. And my name is George Duomani. If you haven't attended our webinar before, I am the co-founder and the CEO of US College Sport Camp Asia. So our organization started about 2013, so 8 years ago. The whole reason why we're starting this because we want to provide opportunity for your son, your daughter, or the family to learn and compete and showcase your talent in front of U.S. college coaches at your hometown. So, we are now the largest camp organizer in Asia. So we operating in 15 countries in 7 sports and more than 120 kids that participate in our camp has come through U.S. college for sport scholarship. For my staff and myself, we all passionate about sport and we want to make sure that your son, your daughter, see the same importance equally between sport and also the education. For me, I came here in US 30 years ago for tennis, and we learned throughout about the process of becoming junior competitive and also college and also the professional level. 2 months ago, since COVID hit, we are now hosting the US CC webinar to stay connected with you online. Certainly this time in every year we probably be in Asia already. So right now with the situation, we'd like to stay connected. So we're starting out with the webinar by inviting coaches, expert of each different field to stay connected with you. Today we have the privilege with Coach Felix. He's a interim head coach for men's team from Ferrum University. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, George. How are you?
I'm good. How's everything with you at Ferrum?
Yeah, everything's going good. The weather's nice today. We're just doing different bits and pieces today, but no, everything's all good. Thanks, George.
Okay, good. Coach, why don't we start a little bit about your background? What I understand is you also came to US a few years back because you want to play and educate it here in the US system. Could you tell us an audience, we have audience on the Zoom and also we have larger audience as a live Facebook in different countries. Could you tell us a little bit more about your background and why you come to US?
So I was born and raised in Australia. That's where I come from, and I came over to the States when I was 19. My background kind of growing up. My parents were Vietnamese, so they came from Vietnam over to Australia. I think in the early 90s, and I was born in 94. I was kind of grew up in Australia. Go back to Vietnam sporadically, but that's kind of my background. Obviously, played lots of soccer growing up. I was very very lucky to represent Australia. Kind of growing up at the youth stages for soccer. And that was where I kind of got spotted by some coaches that were bringing players over to the US. So, just from that little opportunity there, I was able to get a scholarship for a school in West Virginia called Alderson Broaddus University. So, that's kind of how that all kind of worked out in terms of how I got a scholarship to come to the US. It came over to the US obviously when I was 18, 19, and played for 4 years there, and decided that I really enjoyed coaching. I really enjoyed having a lifestyle based around soccer, and kind of been here ever since. And had a few assistant coaching roles, and this is kind of my first role as interim head coach.
Great. Well, congratulations for a new position that you just taking on.
Thank you.
This is, the team with your new direction will certainly looking forward to see the result.
Yeah, thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
so could you, right, as you came to US a few years back, would you see the difference between like high competitive junior league level compared to university league here in US? Were there any big difference back then when you enter US system?
Do you mean in terms of the standard between Australia and US? Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
competitiveness and the training and the fitness, and
Oh yeah, no, 100%. No, like I said, I was very lucky to represent Australia growing up. I played for like semi-pro teams, as a 17, 18-year-old, which was rare. And the level of professionalism was much, much, much higher when I came over to the US. I thought I was, in Australia, I was playing at a good level. I was playing at a high level. But coming to the US with the facilities and the standard in terms of the training sessions, the level of organization, everything was just at a much, much higher level. And I very much enjoyed the experience that I had in the US. I learned a lot, not just as a player, but obviously now, as a coach, the amount of preparation that goes into making sure the athletes are prepared as professionally as possible. They're treated as professionally as possible. And obviously the level of competition is very high. There's many internationals that come over to America that want to make something of themselves. And the competitiveness of every league that, I've played in, I've seen, I've coached in, has always been very high. So, there is a little bit of a misconception, I think, from internationals that maybe, Americans maybe is not as competitive in soccer as the rest, as Europe or whatever it is. But I guess the unique thing is that America is obviously a place where you can study and get a degree, but the level and the level of competition is also very, very high. And many players who do extremely well in the college system have gone on to develop professional careers. You know what I mean? So no, I think the like I said, the standard, the competitiveness is very, very high. From moving from Australia to here, it was a big difference for sure.
Okay, so even Australia and here is a big difference. What about the level of the competitive here in? You mentioned about facility in the university setting, and also the professionalism is a lot higher, even though you play like a high level there, right?
Yeah.
So, what have you seen college soccer for the past, I would say, 5 or 6 years? How have you seen them shift? A lot more competitive now than 5 years ago, or what are the levels?
Yeah, I think the level's definitely increased over the past years. Just because of especially internationals now know more about the American college system. And I think obviously just with the growing popularity of soccer anyway, especially in America, obviously there's now more players coming through the system, and more players from different countries wanting to come to America to play. For example, every squad that I've been in, the team that I played on, where I was an assistant before, and even at Ferrum, internationals have made up at least 50% of the team. And the great thing is that the internationals are not just from one place. They're not just from Europe, or they're not just from South America, or whatever it is. So you get players from all over the world, and obviously that influences the level of the quality, of the team. And every team in the conference does the same thing. They all have their own internationals, and they have a big say in terms of the quality of the league. That's not to say that the American players don't have any quality at all. You know what I mean? But the American players are obviously very important in terms of how they play. But no, I think over the 5 years that I've been here, there's definitely been an increase in terms of the quality, just because there is now more participation in the sport. That people are now watching soccer a lot more than they used to, and just in general, soccer in general has now evolved from a more of a, I guess, a running tactical game to a more technical, creative game. You know what I mean? So, in that sense, players are always going to be a little bit more creative and a little bit more technical than they were, 5-6 years ago.
Okay, no, that's certainly, because for me, as watching on the TV with the MLS, I remember 5 years ago, not many, it can't even fill up 5,000 seat stadium. Now it's like 50,000 seat stadium. Yeah. So certainly, soccer here in the U.S. is up and coming and spread all the way down. Let's talk about your program, okay? How do you recruit players to join your team and the school?
Yes, so we recruit in many different ways. Sometimes we will go through agencies, just like yourself, and they're a massive help. We also go to different showcases for local players, for American players, to kind of just see what we have in the region, when they come to play. Sometimes they reach out to us, they want us to come out to the high school games, and they'll send us a video, and then we'll watch the video and we'll watch the high school game, and then we'll kind of decide from there if that is an option that we want to pursue. But it's basically, I guess the old saying goes that you never know who's watching. You know what I mean? There's so many different players that so many different ways that we like to recruit players. So I guess there's no one way for sure. There's no one way we always recruit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So, on the daily basis, how many email or a phone call that you receive from this different student, so-called student athlete, prospective student athlete want to come to join your team?
Oh, there's too many to count each day.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to filter through them, but no, everyone wants to play college soccer. If you were lucky enough to do it. But no, we definitely get lots of emails, and sometimes we respond, sometimes we don't. I try and respond to everyone, whether it's a no or we can talk later. But no, there's definitely lots of interest every day.
Yeah, definitely. It is only U.S. college system in the world that you can play high competitively and also get education yourself, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So in your team roster right now, what's percentage of international player compared to U.S. domestic player?
Right now it'd be close to 50%, probably like between 45 and 50% right now. That's how many internationals that we're going to have this year. We probably had a little bit more of a percentage last year. This year we're bringing a few more Americans than we did last year. So no, I mean, either way, I think the internationals still, even though they're making up less than 50%, they still create a bulk of the environment. What I mean by that is the internationals, they tend to be very what's the word? They want to be there all the time. Sometimes we get American kids who they get homesick or whatever it is, and when they come in, and so they'll decide that they want to stop playing, they want to go home or whatever it is. So then it ends up being more internationals anyway. But obviously for internationals, if you're homesick, you can't just go home and for the weekend. You know what I mean? So But no, right now it's a little bit less than half, but I imagine that turning into more than half.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So tell our audience a little bit more about the school itself, outside of soccer, because the season is only 2 months, right? For college.
Yeah, about 3 months. Yeah, with preseason and everything, about 3 months.
Yeah. So outside of the 3 months, because the school is about 10 months, tell us a little bit more about your Ferrum University. How many major do they have, and how many students, and what are they normally, known for?
Yeah, so the majors that we have, we have about 20 majors. We cover most of, I guess, the majors of a regular liberal private school. A liberal arts school. Our student population probably fluctuates between, it's a smaller school, so I think we have about 1,500 students, probably between 1,300 and to 1,500 students. That's normally where we kind of fluctuate. But this school is mainly known for its business. So kind of anything to do with business, the finances, commerce, those kind of degrees it's really well known on the East Coast, Ferrum. There's been students here who get jobs in places like Washington, DC and stuff like that. So, business is massive, and sports science is really important as well. So is really popular as well. So kind of those two majors are the main ones that are really well known in this region. But obviously we still have, like art degrees, and, we still have education degrees. So we still have the main, I guess the degrees that are quite popular, between every school. But those are probably the two main ones that, that help students get jobs once they graduate.
Okay, that's good. So you geographically, your Ferrum town is centrally located around many major cities, right? And I know you're only 4 hours away from me, Washington D.C.
Yeah.
And Charlotte and Atlanta, and so what major airport that you normally use for when you travel?
So normally Roanoke is the airport that a lot of students fly from or into. That's about 40 minutes away. So, sometimes, or they'll fly into Greensboro, which is about an hour, 10 minutes away from Ferrum. Those are the two main airports where students fly into. But, I think because we have lots of players from the Northern Virginia area, lots of different internationals also kind of fly into Washington, D.C., and then they might get a lift, from there, someone from Northern Virginia will pick them up and they'll take them down to Ferrum when they come down to Ferrum. So, yeah, I mean, different airports, but, there's no one way to get here, I guess.
I see,
yeah. I'm trying to say.
You're also close to Virginia Tech. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So a lot of school around there, that area. So for the season, how do you select the team that you want to play against, and to make sure you are going into the conference at the year end? How do you select your tournament schedule?
Yes, so I mean our conference is a little bit unique. We don't play every team. We play about 8 conference games right now. There's 12 teams, but we have to have between 17 and 18 games. So, being my first year as interim head coach, I haven't had much say in terms of how we schedule our non-conference games. But I know for, with the games that I've tried to schedule, they've been tougher games because we do compete in a very, very tough conference. Conference is the ODAC is a well-known Division III conference that is well regarded. especially on this side of the country. So I do my best to try and get schools that, you know, that is going to help us be ready for the level of competition when we get into the ODAC. So when I go about, you know, scheduling the games for the non-conference, you know, I always try and look at obviously teams that are around us and teams that have done well in their conference. But you know, like I was saying before, for the most part, our schedule was kind of set, you know, once I kind of got the interim head coach position, so I couldn't make too many changes to that.
Nice.
But in general, yeah, I do like to make things as competitive as possible so we get ready for conference.
Yeah. So you're looking at around 18 matches within 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's quite a workout, you know, on average. What, 4 weeks?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. You know, 2 weeks, and then, you know, you have a short preseason as well, which, you know, makes you, you know, you have to fit so much work into a short amount of time. So, you know, like someone told me when I first came to America, you know, you rarely ever feel 100% fit when you're in your season. You know what I mean? You have to train, you have to study, and then you got 2 games a week, and then you have to travel. So, you know, it's definitely it's a tough lifestyle, and when you look at it, but it's definitely worth it, you know, when you finish at the end.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a very, very demanding, especially for someone, you know, walking in as a freshman for the first time, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how would you guide your new recruit coming into your program, you know, because a lot of preparation.
Yeah. So that's a really good question. So we do it in different ways. For us, you know, obviously one of the big things about the American college system and just kind of America in general is the physicality of everything. You know, there's a bit more of an emphasis on, I guess, strength and conditioning and, you know, being fit and everything, you know, in America compared to other countries in terms of their sports. You know, probably especially in soccer, you know, there's probably more of a focus on the technical side and more on the tactical side. But here it's a lot more physical, a lot more running. So the first thing I always tell recruits when I'm telling them about America and being prepared to come in is to make sure that they're physically fit, to make sure that they're, you know, ready for the, I guess, the hustle and bustle of college soccer. You know, so the summer workout plans that we send out are quite demanding. You know, there's actually some of the guys that you've sent me. You know, some of them have already said that they're a little bit concerned with the running, but, you know, it's just you know, it's all part of it. You know what I mean? It's you have to be very mentally tough to get through it. But I think there's, as much as I talk about it or as much as I can, or, you know, in preseason, you know, we do 3 a day, so we train 3 times a day, and that's not because, you know, we want to, I guess, break them or anything like that, but we want to test them mentally. We want them to know that to play, you know, you have to be ready to perform at a high level, even when your mind isn't feeling it. But, you know, there's no substitute for experience. So I think the biggest learning curve for everyone is going through their first year and understanding how it works. You know what I mean? You know, we can prepare them as much as we can tell them, we can preach every day, but ultimately they have to experience it themselves.
Yeah, no, that's no doubt. And the word that I hearing all the time is you need to be fit, you know, coming here to play college soccer. Could you quantify, because I asked the same question, you know, with our last guest too, to quantify what is the fitness level that they actually have to be. Like, for example, coach say you need to run 12-minute 2 miles. You know, would you any guideline that you can provide to our audience?
No, so I mean, I think in terms of the running, that's probably a good one. You know, we do expect our players to finish under 6-minute miles. You know, we want our players to be able to run 400 meters in less than a minute. You know, but you know, it's for soccer. It's not just about, I guess, how fit you are, but it's about also how well you can take the hits. You know, during the college soccer season, you're going to be tackled a lot. You're going to be bruised. Your shin's going to be hurting. Your ankle's going to be hurting. So there's always going to be an issue with your body. Like I was saying before, you're never going to feel 100%. And on top of that, we need you to be fit. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be playing 2 games a week, and if you want to perform at the highest level for both games, you need to be able to get through both games. You know what I mean? So, you know, for players, it's tough. And what I think lots of players don't understand is that maybe some players, you know, just say for internationals, they played every game or whatever it is, you know, back in their country, and American players, they played every game. You know, it's always the American players who do a lot better their freshman year because they are used to how things go. You know, I mean, they're used to playing 2 games a week. They're used to it all being very fast, very physical. The internationals probably, they're not used to it because they're only used to playing maybe once a week and training 2 or 3 times a week. But no, I guess quantifiably the level of fitness that we need, you know, I think that's a pretty good, I guess, indication of your fitness. You know, how fast you can run a mile and everything like that. But you know, I think for soccer especially, it's important to understand you need to be strong as well. You need to, you know, I can't tell you, I guess, the amount you should squat or the amount you should bench, but you know, it's very tough on the body for sure.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. So, right, let's talk about your new recruit. I heard we had some good news that you have a great recruit out from Asia this year for this coming season. You know, how are they going to fit into to your team, and what would you advise them to do from now until coming to your program? Is it your school starting at the end of August, right? So
yeah, it's middle of August. Yeah, middle of August.
Yeah, so which is like less than 2 months away.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, so yeah, no, I'm super excited to have some players from Asia. Just to have some Asian players also helps. You know, me being the only Asian person around these areas. But no, you know, I'm super excited to have them. You know, my advice for them is kind of like what I was saying before. Just get ready to grind. You know what I mean? Get ready to know that, you know, some days you're not going to be feeling it. You know, some days you don't want to train. Some days you don't want to do video. But at the end of the day, you know, in order to be successful and in order to play at the highest level and in order to play at this level, this is what you need to do. You know what I mean? I think lots of players love the idea of, you know, oh, I want to go play professionally. I want to go, you know, play at a higher level in college, whatever it is, right? But when they get here and they understand how much work it takes, you know, they probably need to be a bit more realistic in terms of, I guess, their dreams or whatever it is. But no, for me, my advice is just make sure that right now you're working as hard as you can, you know, making sure you work out every day, you know, follow the program if you can. If you're not reaching or meeting the times that is required right now, you know, don't be too stressed because you have to build it up. You know, you can't just, you know, go for a run one day and meet every single time. So, you know, for me, it's just about making sure you prepare as much as possible. And like I said, be prepared to be tested physically and mentally all throughout the season.
Yeah, no, it's good. Thank you. And I know they join here in the audience. So JJ, you on the line?
Maybe not.
Okay. All right. So let's move to. Here we go.
There he is.
Hey, how are you doing?
He looks sleepy.
we couldn't hear you. That's okay. We can circle back to him, and his microphone is not on. We couldn't hear him, but that's your well, congratulations, JJ, to be accepted and play with Coach Felix at Ferrum this coming class, August 2020. You better get ready. Yes. So good luck, JJ. We couldn't hear you, so we certainly know that you hear us. But thanks again, Coach, for taking him in, and he will be working very hard and looking forward to join the team.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Excited to have him.
And we also have Guten Tam on the call. Guten Tam. Yeah, it's probably going to be a technical difficulty, but that's okay. All right. Well, congratulations, Guten Tam, for accepting to be playing the U.S. college. It's coming up soon in August. All right, Coach. I want to open up the room. If you have any questions, go ahead and type in your chat messages down at the bottom. Anything you like to ask Coach Felix about U.S. college soccer or Ferrum University or his program, certainly this is a good time to ask. Coach, so what do you think about this season coming up here? Is it going to happen? It's a big question.
Yeah, no. So it's definitely going to happen. I think all the schools have kind of put in their opinion and they said they want to play. The minimum amount of games though has decreased, I guess is the right word. So normally you have to have at least 17 games, but now they say for this fall, you only need at least 8 games. So obviously you can now drop games if you'd like to. For me personally, I still want to play as many games as I can. I still want to play the 17 games. But no, they're looking at different options. But I know, 95% sure that this season is still going to happen. As long as there is some soccer around, I'm sure, lots of people will be happy, so myself included in that. So, no, I think the season will happen for sure.
That's good. So that's good to hear, 95%, especially, we see a lot going on in Europe now, right?
Yeah.
And the Women League gonna start next week, so it's happening.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's good. It's exciting for sure.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. So, anything that you like to give advice to young kids who want to come play soccer in U.S. college here? What they should be doing. Let's say most of the time people come to us when they're 15 or 16 years old. Is anything that you like to give advice for those, in that age compared to like 17 or 18 years old?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure if my advice would be different for a 15 to 16-year-old to an 18-year-old. For me, my advice, just as I guess from the human aspect is probably if you get the opportunity, take it, because it's kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's not really something you can just pour off. It's something you can, obviously leave your country, you can experience football in a different country. I know, sometimes when you're a little bit younger, probably, whether that's, 13, 14, 15, you probably have your heart kind of set on, going to Europe. When you're 18, you're probably maybe a little bit more realistic in terms of where you can go and your options. But no, I think if you can move to another country and play soccer, whether that's coming to the US or whatever it is, try and take it, because at the end of the day, it's not just going to help you develop as a player, but it's going to help you as a person as well. You know what I mean? So, for me, I loved my college soccer experience, 100%. But it was the people that I met. It was how I grew as a person, which for me was the most important part, and that was the most memorable part. I mean, I still keep in touch with them, and I still have good friendships with the people that I played with as well. So just know that it's college soccer is, my advice is, pursue it if you can, leave the country if you can, and move to another country to play. But just know that, it's the people that you meet along the way that makes the journey worth it, if that makes sense.
Wow, that's really good advice. So, with
Yeah.
that, I don't think I can go on anymore for today. That's really good, good advice. And again, opportunity come and go. Take it when you can. Right, Coach?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Coach Felix, for your time. And if you like to learn anything more about the program, please feel free to email Coach Felix anytime, or contact us at US College Sport Camp at any time. And I will certainly send you all the contact and also the video and the website of Miss Coach Felix program in the email. But Coach, thanks again for this morning, and I hope you have a good day. It seems like we're going to have a great day here in US. Nice weather out there.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, George. I really appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you, everybody who joined us in the audience and the Zoom and also the Facebook Live. And please stay connected with us on the social network, and we will keep you informed of what's happening around the world and around US college. And there's a lot to be updated. Join us this Friday for another next webinar. And next week, we also have a special guest from tennis industry. And his academy is top in the world, Emilio Sanchez. And he used to be top 10 captain for Spain Davis Cup, and he will be joining us next week. But thanks again for your time, Coach. And thank you, everybody in Asia and also in US. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.